In this video, I will demonstrate how to use R Jupyter Notebooks inside of Orchest. I'm using Windows for this video, but you can run it on Windows, Mac, or Linux. To use it on Windows, you have to make sure you have Docker pre-installed and configured to use Windows Subsystem for Linux version 2. I will have a link that explains the details about how to install this. For now, I'm going to assume that that has been configured. Next, make sure you have the Orchest repository cloned into your Linux environment. I have done so previously. As you can see, the Orchest directory is right here, so I'll move into it and start the Orchest server by using the main Orchest shell script. By calling orchest.sh start, I will start the Orchest web server, which will then be accessible in my browser. If I reload the page, I can verify that indeed the Orchest web server is running. So now I'll create the pipeline that will contain the R code. I'll add the pipeline, I'll give it a name, R pipeline. When I open this pipeline, I'll get the pipeline editor, and you can see in the top right that the session has started. The session runs necessary containers such as Jupyter Lab, which will allow you to edit the notebooks. So now I'll create a new step. I'll call this my R code. Make sure that for file extension, you have selected IPyNB to get a notebook in which to write your R code. Second, make sure you have selected the right kernel that's pre-configured for R, in addition to the image that's pre-configured with all R packages. Then save the pipeline by pressing the Save button, after which you can then open this step inside of Jupyter. This will create a Jupyter Lab window for you. In the top right, you can see that it's connected to a kernel that's running R that's based on a Docker container. To validate whether this is actually working, we'll paste in some R code and see if it's producing the desired output. Just run the cell like you would normally, or press Shift Return. You can see that the output is indeed correct. So let's save this file and see if we can run this code inside the pipeline itself. So we go back to the pipeline, select the step. We look at the logs that are produced in real time while it's executing. And when we click Run Selected Step, you can see that indeed it is producing the same output. So now we have a working notebook step in Orchest. I hope this instruction was somewhat useful to get a sense of how to run Orchest with our Jupyter notebooks.